On the morning of September 15, 2025, the air around Criminal Court B in Monrovia was thick with anticipation. The imposing courthouse, usually a symbol of routine justice, now stood at the center of a national storm. People from all walks of life gathered outside, their faces tense, their voices hushed, as they waited for the doors to open. Inside, the atmosphere was even more charged. Every seat in the gallery was filled, and the corridors buzzed with speculation about what would unfold. This was not just another day in court, it was a day destined to become a landmark in Liberia's legal history. The gravity of the moment was felt by everyone present, from the seasoned lawyers to the anxious families who had come seeking answers and closure. The trial of Sam Worlobah, a man who had masqueraded as a doctor for years, had captured the nation's attention like few cases before it. His arrest and subsequent trial had exposed not only his own deception, but also the alarming gaps in Liberia's healthcare oversight. Newspapers ran daily updates, and radio talk shows buzzed with outrage and disbelief. For many Liberians, the case was a painful reminder of how vulnerable patients could be in a system where trust had been so easily betrayed. As the jury filed back into the courtroom, a heavy silence fell over the crowd. Every eye was fixed on the foreperson, every breath held in anticipation. The families of Worlobah's victims sat together, hands clasped tightly, hoping for justice. Even the judge, known for his composure, seemed to sense the weight of the moment. When the verdict was finally read, guilty, the words seemed to reverberate through the chamber, echoing off the walls and into the hearts of everyone present. It was more than just a legal decision. It was a collective reckoning with the consequences of unchecked medical fraud. The verdict sent a clear message. Those who endanger lives for personal gain would be held accountable. The courtroom erupted in a wave of emotion. Some people wept openly, mourning the lives lost and the pain endured. Others embraced, relieved that justice had finally been served after years of uncertainty. For the families, it was a bittersweet victory, closure, but also a reminder of what could never be restored. As people spilled out of the courthouse into the bright Monrovian afternoon, there was a sense that something fundamental had shifted. For Liberia, this was more than just the end of a trial. It was a pivotal moment in the ongoing struggle to restore faith in both medicine and the law, and a promise that the nation would not allow such a tragedy to happen again. Before his arrest, Sam Worlobah posed as a trusted doctor, exploiting gaps in Liberia's healthcare system. He was a master of deception, blending seamlessly into the medical community. His appearance and demeanor were so convincing that even seasoned professionals were fooled. Worlobah's story is a chilling example of how easily trust can be manipulated. He wore the white coat, used medical jargon, and set up a convincing clinic, but he had no license, no training, and no credentials. His clinic was equipped with basic medical tools, giving the illusion of legitimacy. Patients saw what they expected to see, a doctor ready to help, but behind the facade, there was nothing but danger. Patients, desperate for care, placed their faith in him, never suspecting the danger. Many came with serious ailments, hoping for relief. They trusted him with their lives, unaware that they were entrusting their health to a fraud. The emotional and physical toll on these patients was immense. Investigations revealed he was never registered with the Liberia Medical and Dental Council. His entire career was a dangerous charade. Authorities were shocked at the extent of his deception. The paperwork he presented was all fabricated, and his so-called qualifications were non-existent. The investigation uncovered a web of lies that spanned years. Worlobah's actions were not a misguided attempt to help, but a calculated fraud that put lives at risk. He exploited the vulnerabilities in the healthcare system for personal gain. His actions were premeditated, and the consequences were severe. The community was left reeling, struggling to understand how such a betrayal could happen. His name now stands as a warning about the perils of medical imposters. The case of Sam Worlobah serves as a stark reminder of the importance of verifying credentials and maintaining strict oversight in the medical field. It highlights the need for vigilance and the potential dangers of complacency. The tragedy he caused is a stark reminder. Sometimes the greatest threats come disguised as saviors. The impact of his deception will be felt for years to come, a dark chapter in the history of Liberia's healthcare system. It is a sobering lesson in the importance of trust, integrity, and the devastating effects of betrayal. Worlobah's deception ended in tragedy. A patient died after a botched, unauthorized procedure. The victim's family demanded answers, prompting authorities to investigate. They uncovered a web of lies, no medical license, no formal training, and a fake clinic. Interviews with former patients and evidence from his practice revealed a pattern of reckless endangerment. The death was not an isolated mistake, but the inevitable result of Worlobah's ongoing fraud. This tragedy forced the community and government to confront the deadly risks of unregulated medical practices. The investigation brought a hidden danger into the open, demanding justice and reform. The trial of Sam Worlobah became a national spectacle, presided over by Judge Wesseh Alphanso Wesseh. The prosecution, led by Addy, Andrew A. Telewoyan, built a case linking Worlobah's deception directly to the patient's death. Witnesses, including medical experts and the victim's family, testified to the harm caused. The defense tried to cast doubt, arguing Worlobah's actions didn't meet the legal standard for murder. The courtroom was a battleground of facts and emotions, with both sides fighting for the future of public trust. Ultimately, the evidence painted a clear picture. Worlobah's reckless impersonation led to a preventable death. The jury faced the monumental task of deciding whether this was murder or tragic negligence. After intense deliberations, the jury returned with a verdict, guilty of murder. Under Liberian law, a 3/4 majority is enough for conviction. 10 out of 12 jurors agreed Worlobah's actions were criminal. Judge Wesseh polled each juror, confirming the decision and removing any doubt. The verdict was decisive, reflecting the overwhelming evidence and the community's demand for accountability. Worlobah, once a figure of false authority, now faced the consequences of his deception. The jury's voice was clear: reckless medical fraud that leads to death is murder. Justice at last had spoken. The guilty verdict unleashed a wave of emotion, relief and vindication for the prosecution, disappointment for the defense. Attorney Telewoyan's team celebrated a hard-won victory, hoping it would deter future imposters. The defense, led by Counselor Sene Carler II, immediately registered an exception, signaling plans to appeal. Across Liberia, the public welcomed the verdict as a sign the justice system could protect the vulnerable. Healthcare advocates praised the decision, calling for stricter enforcement against medical fraud. Judge Wesseh ordered Worlobah remanded to Monrovia Central Prison, marking the end of his fraudulent career. The case sent a powerful message: there are real consequences for those who endanger lives through deception. The Worlobah case exposed deep flaws in Liberia's healthcare oversight. Unlicensed practitioners thrive where legitimate care is scarce, preying on desperate patients and undermining public trust. These quacks often use unsafe methods, leading to misdiagnoses, worsening conditions, and even death. The challenge is twofold: crack down on fraud while strengthening the formal healthcare system. Regulatory bodies need more resources, and public awareness campaigns must teach citizens how to spot imposters. The trial has sparked urgent calls for reform, with hopes that this tragedy will lead to stricter laws and better healthcare access. Liberia now faces a critical test. Will it close the gaps that allowed Worlobah to operate? With the guilty verdict, the case entered its final phase, sentencing. Judge Wesseh ordered a pre-sentencing investigation to guide his decision, considering Worlobah's background and the crime's impact. Both sides will argue for harshness or leniency, but the defense is already preparing an appeal, challenging the trial's fairness. This case sets a powerful precedent. Impersonating a doctor and causing death can be prosecuted as murder in Liberia. Legal experts say this verdict could reshape how professional fraud is punished, especially in critical sectors like healthcare. Future cases may see tougher charges and sentences, using Worlobah's conviction as a benchmark. The legal battle may continue, but the message is clear: reckless fraud will not be tolerated. The conviction of Sam Worlobah is more than a single verdict. It's a turning point for public safety and trust in Liberia. For years, many citizens have harbored doubts about the integrity of their healthcare system, and this case has brought those concerns into sharp focus. The trial and its outcome have sent shockwaves through communities, sparking conversations in homes, markets, and workplaces about the importance of accountability and the dangers of unchecked authority. The case has forced a national reckoning with the dangers of unlicensed practitioners and the urgent need for stronger oversight. Families who once trusted anyone in a white coat are now asking questions, demanding proof of qualifications, and seeking reassurance that their loved ones are in safe hands. The fear and uncertainty caused by this scandal have highlighted just how vulnerable patients can be when systems fail. It's a call to action for citizens to verify credentials and for authorities to enforce regulations. Now, more than ever, people are learning how to protect themselves and their families by asking the right questions and demanding transparency. This shift in public awareness is crucial for building a safer healthcare environment where trust is earned and maintained through vigilance and responsibility. The Liberia Medical and Dental Council and Ministry of Health now face intense public pressure to reform and protect patients. They are being called upon to strengthen their licensing processes, increase inspections, and ensure that only qualified professionals are allowed to practice. The public is watching closely, expecting real change and greater transparency from those in charge of safeguarding their health. Restoring trust will take time, but this verdict is a crucial first step towards safer, more reliable healthcare. The journey ahead will require commitment from both officials and ordinary citizens, as well as investment in education, infrastructure, and ongoing oversight. By working together, Liberia can build a system where every patient feels safe and every provider is held to the highest standards. The legacy of this case will be measured by the reforms it inspires and the lives it saves. If the lessons learned lead to stronger protections, better training, and a renewed sense of responsibility, then this painful chapter will have served a greater purpose. The hope is that future generations will look back and see this as the moment Liberia chose to put patient safety and public trust above all else. The fall of the fake doctor is a painful lesson, but it offers hope for a healthier, more just Liberia. As the nation moves forward, the courage to confront hard truths and demand better will shape a future where every Liberian can trust the care they receive and look forward to a brighter tomorrow.